It's the McShay Show presented by FanDuel. It's our time. It's officially NFL draft season, and you can get in on all the action with FanDuel. FanDuel has lots of ways to bet on the draft, like pick position, team to draft a player, exact order, top 5 and 10 picks, and so much more. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel always has exclusive offers. The app is safe, secure, and easy to use, so download FanDuel Sportsbook app today and make every moment more during the NFL Draft. The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available, and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Absolutely jam-packed show today. Titans cancel private workouts for Shedeur and Travis Hunter. Is Cleveland playing poker or leaning Travis? Odds are drastically shifting for both Shedeur and for players in the top 5 overall. And Jalen Milroe's headed to Green Bay. He's not a first rounder, right?
I tried to tell you, McShay.
Plus, the 16th edition of my all-satellite team and position group deep dive defensive back. Told you it's packed. And just 17 days until the NFL draft. Mensch, you good?
I'm good, man.
All right, play me that beat, please. We appreciate you being here. It's 17 days away, as I just said, and I'm done with my evaluations. Mensch doesn't want to hear it, but now the fun starts, right? Now the fun starts. All the hay is in the barn, as NFL people like to say, right? So I'm looking at this thing, and a few things jump out. First of all, we appreciate you being here. We're fired up about what's coming up. I've got a mock 3.0 coming up on Thursday. You got to pay to get it. I'm sorry in advance, but it's just how this thing works. $4, subscribe for this year's draft, $36 to double down. Just Google the McShay Report. The thing I have not presented enough, and I've been meaning to say this, you can subscribe for free, and there's a lot of free content. And this week, the free content is my all-satellite team. We're going to get into that a little bit on the show. I've been doing it for 16 years. We've had some great names, over 100 names. I went back and researched it, like some of the all-time playmakers in the NFL in the past couple decades. And so, again, subscribe, go Google it, the McShay Report. You could just jump in and get the free stuff. I have two newsletters a week, and one of them's free every week. And then the other stuff's the rankings, the really high-level intel that I'm providing, especially as we get close to this draft, and the mock drafts. All right, shifting focus. Mondays and Thursdays is when we're here. We're going to have multiple shows, a lot more than 2 shows, 2 weeks leading up to and through the draft. I want to remind everyone, because we are fired up for this. We're going to be in LA. The draft ends in LA. We're going to be in LA. I'm getting Mensch from New Hampshire to Los Angeles. We've got beautiful studios, I hear, in Hollywood. I believe it's in Hollywood, Mensch. You're going
it's all Hollywood
on
to
me?
Yeah, it's got to be all Hollywood.
Out in California, that we're going to have shows all week starting Monday morning, first thing after all the draft buzz, those conversations. What we're really fired up about, and let's build this thing together, right? We appreciate you listening, tuning into YouTube, to Spotify, to Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Mensch, tell them real quickly how they can support us.
You got to hit follow on Spotify. You got to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Again, consider subscribing to the McShay Report. At the very least, get the free information. I mean, that stuff's still good, but the stuff that's behind the paywall is great. He works really hard on
it. And I just want to remind people, I get it. You're going to have NFL Network or ESPN on in the background, but if you've been tuned into this show since October, or if you just started recently, or if this is the first show you're watching, we're going to be doing a live feed throughout the first round of the draft. Okay, we're going to be live the whole first round, then the whole second round. And then on Saturday, we're invading Russillo's house. We've got producers and cameramen, and Mensch and myself are going in there, and we're going to tear apart his little man cave there overlooking the Pacific Ocean and all the nice stuff that he likes to have as this grown adult who's got all the freedom in the world. We're going to tear it apart, and we're going to have a blast in the 7th round. We're going to recap the whole draft, talk about where teams are, some of the biggest storylines, what teams missed out on, what teams still need quarterbacks, all of that stuff. You got to put it in your calendar. I'll continue to remind you, but we're trying to make this big and we need your support. And let's just have some fun with it, right? I really think we're going to provide content that nobody's ever done before. And you get sick and tired of the commercials, and you get sick and tired of the same kind of voices and same narratives. Like, if your team drafts a player, we're not going to start talking about well, they're on the clock and they've got this pick and who do they go next? We're actually going to stop down for 10 minutes and talk about, if your team's the Carolina Panthers and they just drafted, let's say, Jalen Walker, we're going to give you 10 minutes on what that meant and where they are in their roster and what we've liked about their offseason and what picks they got in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. What's still available at that point in terms of what we project, what they can still do. It's going to be a blast, man. And I just hope people know in advance and are willing to give us a shot, because we're not going to disappoint. All right.
Can't wait.
I got a lot of quick hitters here, man. Every time I think,
I'm a little worried.
I
Your
know.
quick hitters are never quick, man.
But they're going to be quick today. I get the feedback. Roll. I read the comments. Let's go. Titans cancel Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's private workouts. Respectfully. It's actually a respectful move. These young men have played a whole lot of football. They've trained. They just had pro day, all of it. And so if you don't intend to draft them, either of them, with that 1st overall pick, why put them through another private workout, have them prepared, give them installs? It's not the right thing to do. And to be totally honest, selfishly, from an organizational standpoint, you don't want to be flying back out and have to spend a day or two of your time and take it away from other things in the organization. What are your thoughts initially when you heard that information?
I mean, it's obvious that Cam Ward's now going number 1. I mean, that's the first thing. And the second thing is, it is the right move. Don't waste people's time. Don't make people jump through hoops that they don't need to jump through. Just do the right thing. Sit down, have that discussion, say we're going in another direction. We think you're a great player and you're going to be a great player for someone else in this league. And this is just the direction we're going in.
I think we've all known that if they stay at 1, the pick is going to be Cam Ward, the Miami quarterback, right?
Okay.
For a while. No. What I'm saying is, this to me signaled, we knew it was going to be Cam Ward if they stay at 1. This to me signaled there probably is not a price to move out of this spot.
Okay, agree.
You know what I mean?
Yes, because if not, you're moving back, you do your due diligence and you still work out those players. Because
what if it's the most likely spot to move back to would be the Giants based off of all the intel and just common sense. And possibly 2 if Cleveland wanted to get up there. And if you move to 2 or to 3, Cam Ward is out. Because anyone trying to move up is moving up for Cam Ward. But if you move to 2 or 3, even if you've decided Shedeur's not our guy in round 1, you're then saying very loud and clear that we're not moving back, because if you move there, it's going to be Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, right?
Right. And then buckle up for another, I don't think those teams are a Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, as good as those players are, away from being, a contender. And then what are you doing for your quarterback? What are you doing in terms of the quarterback going forward? What's your long-term plan at quarterback?
Well, that's the other. And nothing about their offseason moves, the Tennessee Titans have shown that have any intention of doing anything but sticking and picking a quarterback, and that quarterback is Cam Ward. All right, number 2. I told you they'd be quick.
Yep.
Number 2.
So far, so good.
I sent out this tweet because it's legitimately some of the stuff. And again, I'm not talking to Cleveland. I would never ask Andrew Berry. I don't have a relationship with Andrew Berry. I'll tell you the people that I do. I don't. I have some sources, but the conversations this time of year, and I'll continue to explain this, it's talking to other organizations who are talking to people in the league. And yeah, it's a game of telephone, but it's also like calls are being made and, hey, the general manager just talked to, and there's some talk about what if we move up to this spot, or would you be available or would you be open to a move there? And so people are starting to read between tea leaves, and there are a lot of close friends. It is a tight-knit community in the NFL. And so one person talks to this person, talks to that person, and it goes around and around. I'm starting to hear a little bit more about Travis Hunter as the apple in the Cleveland Browns organizational eyes, if you will. And number 2, I'm starting to hear more. So I sent out a tweet about it. It was right after the Tennessee canceling the pro days, or the private workouts, I should say, for Shedeur and Travis Hunter. And I said, in addition to that, interesting news, which basically locks it in, as we just discussed, that Cam Ward's going 1, and more importantly, they're not planning on trading out. I'm still in the conversations I'm having. I'm hearing a little bit more like Travis Hunter could be the guy too. I want to tell people this though, and I've said this going back to our first conversations in December when I said to you, the only 2 things I'm hearing out of Cleveland, not from Cleveland, from people talking to people in Cleveland, and that's early on, right, is that they don't think the quarterback answer is there this year. They're comfortable passing on a quarterback with that number 2 pick and taking one of these elite 2 players. And I also told you at that point, I think it was December, it might have been January. I told you at that point, Kirk Cousins is the guy that they think that they'd like to move forward with if they can make that happen with Atlanta. Okay. And here we are 17 days out of the draft, and it looks awfully like that information, my original information before Schefter said they will take a quarterback, and then said they won't take a quarterback, and everyone's been kind of chasing their tail. I want to make this very clear to you. Andrew Berry in NFL circles, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, is notorious for being like having fun with this. You know what I mean?
Misleading. Just, some smoke screens.
Purposely. So there'll be a little nugget, a little so when I tell you I'm starting to hear Travis Hunter, my spidey senses go up and like, well, maybe that's because it's Abdul, but they don't have anyone. There's no one that they're messing around with here.
Right.
If they're picking at 6, then you hear information, then you really, you think the opposite, or you don't trust it at all. But they're sitting at 2. And no one can take them out of that spot, so they can take whoever they want. And we're positive at this point everyone's available except Cam Ward. So I guess I wouldn't even have revisited it if it A, wasn't information I'm actually hearing, and B, like 2.6 million people or 2.7 million people. I was told today there were that many impressions on the X post that I put out there. So I think people are either agreeing or disagreeing. I haven't looked at the comments. I'm sure people are calling me crazy or saying or going off on any tangent they want. But I do find it interesting when you look at Cleveland and some of the odds and how they're shifting. And I told you before, like teams are looking at this stuff, and people at FanDuel, they make a lot of money. And I just think, like, I want you to look at these number 2 overall picks. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you can see this. If not, I'll explain. We've got a graphic up. Travis Hunter, just a few days ago on Friday, I believe that was April 4th, was plus 240 to be the number 2 overall pick. On that same day, Friday, Abdul Carter was minus 270. Huge gap between those two. Okay. I don't know if it had anything to do with my X post on Friday. If that moved the needle at all, hopefully not. Hopefully they have the information that I'm getting, and hopefully there's some validity to it. But you can't help but notice it's shifted. Minus 135 now for Travis Hunter to be the number 2 pick. He's the odds-on favorite to be the number 2 pick of the Cleveland Browns. And Abdul Carter went from minus 270 to plus 105.
It's a big jump in a short time. 2 things. One, Travis Hunter's a receiver if he's in a Cleveland Browns uniform, right? He's a receiver first and then a corner second.
I think he's going to play both, but yes,
He'll
I
play
hear what you're
both.
saying.
Right. The other thing is, are we starting to get worried about Abdul Carter's foot injury a little bit more?
I have not talked to anyone in the league that has, but I
Neither have I, but I
honestly,
see that drop and I wonder, some of it's Travis Hunter goes out and has a nice pro day and, maybe they just like him that much more. Or maybe there's a reason that Abdul Carter might be falling a little bit. And I'm not saying that I have information or that you've said anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I just see it and I start to wonder why.
I just want to make it perfectly clear. I have literally heard absolutely zero concern because I don't want agents calling or people because
right.
That's not what we're. But I hear you because it's a fair question to ask. My answer is I have literally heard nobody talk about that as a concern. Doesn't mean it's not, but it's not something that's coming up in conversations.
Right.
What I do and it wasn't the pro day. He was
great before. Yeah.
He was goofing off of that wasn't him trying to show anyone anything. I think it was a lot of people gathering at the pro day and people talking and this guy, because now like the evaluations are done, the hay's in the barn, as I said, and people were like, all it takes is one comment, right? And going out to dinner with Coach Prime and Shador and Travis. And then I guess maybe Coach Prime making the comment that one of my two boys is going to wind up there, not meaning Shiloh Sanders, meaning Travis or Shador. So I think it's a handful of all those things. Maybe Shiloh will be a 6th, 7th round pick to the Browns. But I found that to be fascinating. And then now we're looking at Abdul being the guy in the Giants or Shador. Easy choice for me. I like Shador a lot. I think in the right system. And honestly, Kevin Stefanski, I've said this for a month now. Stefanski would be a great coach for Shador Sanders. The success he's had with pocket passing quarterbacks that don't have great mobility, don't have great arm strength, thrive on processing. Two things he does is layer the ball accurately and processes faster than I think any quarterback in this class. Okay. But for the Giants, Daboll's history is more with bigger, stronger arm guys that can do a little bit more and get creative and have some fun with that. But Abdul would be the pick. I ask you, Mensch, Burns, Thibodeau, do you look at that as crowded or
no?
What? I don't either.
Yeah, it just you can't have enough. And you see it last year. Thibodeau is great, but he missed a chunk of the season with a wrist injury last year, and you just never know when that's going to happen. You just need we say it all the time, and it's just true. You can't have enough guys to get after the quarterback. You never know who's going to get hurt. You rotate guys, you keep guys fresh. It makes it harder to adjust protections for certain players.
Yeah,
you have
imagine 3rd and 9 with Thibodeau, Burns,
yeah.
and they're prowling around going to hunt.
Right. And then all of a sudden,
Abdul
Carter's there too, and you kick Thibodeau inside, or you look at each week, you're going to find matchups with those three guys are all great pass rushers, but they're all unique, and then you start matching them up based on.
And Abdul can drop occasionally too.
Yeah,
cause some
it's a problem for offenses. I mean, yeah, I don't think having two good pass rushers is enough. I think you need more. So to me, it makes sense. It's a great value pick, and you could say it's not a need, but it's going to make your team stronger. Are you making your team better? You're a better team when you wake up the next morning and Abdul Carter is in that on that defensive line.
I want to thank FanDuel too for all of their support and keeping the lights on, as I like to say here. But the Todd's odds thing is funny. We laugh about it. They kind of needle me about, but every time I ask, I get an answer. And I thought this was interesting. So now it begs the question. I'm not doing the Shador thing again. I hear your comments. I'm with you. I'm Shadored out. But I do think it's interesting. Real quick hitters, keep it moving. There you go. Tucker's the best. Here are the odds on Shador Sanders. If you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, you can see it. If you're listening, I'll explain it. Here's a graphic. Shador Sanders, odds to go to different teams. best odds of the team he's going to land on now, Mensch, has shifted to the New Orleans Saints at plus 270. It's still 370 for the Giants, but I find it fascinating that it's plus 600 for the Steelers is the third highest odds for where he's going to land, higher than Cleveland, which picks at 2, higher than the Jets, which pick at 7. And then now let's advance this forward, sticking with some of these odds from FanDuel. And thank you again. They just keep producing every time I ask. How about these odds for the top 5 picks? Because I told you I'm not going to get stuck on Shedeur today. Now that we're starting to get a clearer picture, potentially, Cam Ward goes 1. If it's Travis Hunter 2, then we believe, and FanDuel agrees, that it will almost positively be Abdul Carter at 3. So now you get the Patriots picking at 4 and the Jaguars picking at 5. I'm surprised by this. The top 2 odds of any players are Mason Graham and Armand Membu, the Missouri offensive tackle. Just slightly higher, not a big difference. But and my guess is tomorrow these odds will change because my folks at FanDuel listen as well. But Will Campbell is plus 100.
Right.
Membu's slightly higher. That's interesting. But now throw those back up. Everyone's projecting it's going to be an offensive tackle at 4. I actually think it will be. I actually think it'll be Campbell and not Membu, but we can have that conversation as we get closer. Everyone's projecting Mason Graham at 5. Why couldn't it be Mensch? And I'm not looking to we're not here to start making plays on FanDuel, but why not? Jalen Walker, I've said that before, at plus 850. If you're trying to make a buck,
you're in that market.
I'm just giving a nudge. It's that one's interesting to me. Jalen Walker is an edge rusher. Then you kick Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick, inside occasionally. I don't know. That one's fascinating to me because you believe you have a guy who can coach the quarterback and finally get the most out of Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen.
Right.
And what have I said in the studies that we do? When you got your quarterback and you think you're about to get it out of them, make sure you get closers on the defensive side. I love Mason Graham. Absolutely worth the 5th pick. Third rated player on my board behind Travis Hunter and behind Abdul Carter 1 and Travis Hunter 2. Okay.
Yep.
But at plus 850, that's interesting. And forget the odds and trying to make money for a second. It's surprising that it's it's a lock.
Seems like it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he's not going to New England, so it's got to be Jacksonville, right?
Right.
He's not going to go earlier, I don't think.
And who's going to trade up for Shedeur if they want him to get ahead of the Saints, and how far up will they go? Or have we just kind of been right all along? Really good player. Think he can be a good starter. He's got to be in the right situation. And teams aren't clamoring to give away their draft or maybe a pick from next year's draft to go up to get not that quality a player. Would have been the 6th, 7th quarterback taken it last year. Kind of what we've been saying since October, right? Really like him.
Yep. Not giving up extra assets to go up and get him. Just not doing it.
That part's fascinating. Speaking of fascinating, bud. Of all the shit that's gone on in the last week, from the Hunter rumors to Cleveland, to the pro day with Shedeur, to the cancellation of the private workouts for the Tennessee Titans with Shedeur and Travis Hunter, this one blew my socks off. Jalen Milroe, unofficially apparently, but the reports I'm hearing, it's true. Jalen Milroe has accepted an invitation. Let me say that again. Jalen Milroe, Alabama quarterback, has accepted an invitation to be in Green Bay. That means in the green room, introduced by the NFL, interviewed by NFL Network, ESPN, and ABC, sitting in that green room, 15 minutes a pick, stacking up. what is it, 4 hours or so of coverage.
Yeah.
And it's an Alabama quarterback. So it's not like Will Campbell if he starts to drop all the cameras, okay? He's accepted an invite to the combine. Yes, it has not officially been announced. And reporters are hesitant because you do not want to poke the bear with those offices in New York. And if they tell you, hold off, do not report that, even if it's true, even if you heard it from Jalen, who accepted the invite himself. They're not going to report it until the NFL says, okay, this is the day that we will announce the invitees and the accepted invitees. So it got me thinking. Actually, what was your reaction?
What's their do you know what the process is for picking these guys? I mean,
I'm glad you asked. Okay. So last year, they've been dwindling it down. What they don't want,
right,
ironically, is what I think people's first inclination of what could happen with Milroe is to happen. They don't want the Aaron Rodgers,
Brady
Quinns. It's not fair. It's not like, yeah, it's great TV, but it's not a good look.
Right.
And I appreciate that they've tried to streamline that a little bit to the best of their ability. And so it's my understanding, and I've worked in, I'm probably a pretty good source on this, given my history with all of this and how close I'm tied into the draft and to ESPN for so many years and the inner workings of how all this goes. The NFL has tried to dwindle down the list. Last year, it was 13 guys, okay? And this year, the report came out that they wanted it to be a tighter, more intimate group, 8 to 10, okay? And so what they do is, just like they have the committee for the underclassmen, right? The advisory committee. Put out feelers, talk to people in the league. They're talking to the general managers and trying to get it like, is this guy definitely going to go in the first round? And so let's pull up this graphic. I went back today because this was so fascinating to me when it came out. I'm like a little kid. I know I get excited about stupid stuff. Last year's invites, I think it was 13 of them, right? You can count while I read through them. If you're watching on YouTube and Spotify, we appreciate you doing that. If you're not, and you're driving in your car somewhere or you're chilling in your living room listening to us, we appreciate that too. But here's the list, and I'll read it to you. Here are the 13 players they invited last year. And I'm going to take you through kind of my mindset when the names came out. The obvious ones were Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr. They were the top 4 picks in the draft. Malik Neighbors, I thought was the best wide receiver in last year's class by a very narrow margin. He went 6. He was invited and accepted it. J.C. Latham, we all knew he was going to be a top 10 pick no matter what your evaluation was. Rome Odunze, we knew he was going to be the 3rd wide receiver. He was a top 10 pick, went number 9. Then there were 3 edge rushers. I'll get to the 2 first. Liatu Latu, coming out of UCLA, was the 15th overall pick. Dallas Turner was the 17th overall pick. Then we were all shocked. Remember the cornerbacks? When are they going to start coming off the board? How is Quinion Mitchell still? Quinion Mitchell was my number 12 player in last year's draft. He fell to 22, but he's still a first-round pick. Brian Thomas, I do remember, if I'm being honest, being like, that's interesting, because there were some people in the league who were like, he's the second, I don't quite see it. And he went on to maybe have the best rookie year of the wide receivers. But he was invited, accepted his invitation. He was the 23 overall pick. Terrion Arnold was the second cornerback taken out of Alabama, 24th overall pick. And the one guy I remember having a reaction to, because I liked him a lot, but I had gotten mixed reviews from people in the league. But that's what signaled it to me. I remember last year being like, these guys in the league really do care about not having a player with egg on his face at the end of the first night. Because I've also, you have to understand, I get done with the first night of the draft and go back to the truck, the ESPN truck, and there's all the executives there. And I could list names, but I don't want to bring anyone's names into it. And they're talking about, we're going to find out. And we production meetings the next morning. We're going to find out if he's going to stick around tomorrow. Not sure if he's going to fly home. And then the reporters who are with them and talking to their moms and their dads. And typically you get a note that, hey, they've checked out of the hotel. So let's send a camera to their homes, or they don't want cameras around. That was embarrassing enough. Okay. I remember last year being like, Darius Robinson. They must know, because they don't want that. They don't want this stuff to happen again. And sure enough, he got picked 27 overall. So now there's Jalen Milroe.
Who's taking him?
You've been trying to warn everyone a little bit.
Yeah, I've said that this is earlier than what I expected. I thought I didn't think he'd get out of the second round. So I did say that. I really don't believe he'll get past the second round. This seems a little early for me because of the concerns on tape. He just did not play that well. And listen, he did not play that well. He didn't play that well down the stretch, and then he didn't play well at the Senior Bowl. And there's a lot of throws on tape where I don't know what he's doing there, and that doesn't look good. But the traits, and you've talked about that all year too. The arm strength, the deep ball, of course, the ability to run. And then you look at quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, who came into the league, who had some of those kinds of issues and have developed into big time quarterbacks. What I'm seeing here, though, which is interesting to me, is I thought there was a chance he could go in the first round. My assumption that it would be like a Lamar Jackson situation where someone would trade back in and get him. If they're really comfortable in inviting him, are they really going to base it on a trade? So are you thinking to yourself, maybe this isn't about someone trading back in. Maybe there's a team there in the back end that is looking at Jalen Milroe as their quarterback without trading back in. Is that the Rams? Would the Steelers do it at 21?
I could see the Steelers doing it, and Colin Cowherd made it perfectly clear that he has heard that.
The Steelers don't have a second round pick, mind you. They don't have they lost the second round pick in the Metcalf trade.
And they're getting Aaron Rodgers. Like it's the worst kept secret in the league. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, whether he just decides to announce it at McAfee's party or on his own terms, or the first night in the draft in Green Bay, as you suggested.
Yeah.
Kind of a little, hey, I'm still haunting you. Your big showcase in Green Bay. So
it's got his walkout music.
Yeah, it's just fascinating. I mean, we could sit here, dissect it, and guess and do all that stuff. It's not worth it, and it's not worth the viewers and listeners' time. But it absolutely got my attention, and I know there's a couple people in the league for certain that I've talked to that it is surprising.
Listen,
because a lot of people in the league have not favorable grades on this guy, but some people see the thing and see this is what we do. This is how we could utilize them. We got a situation right now where it's perfect for us to develop. We got a good roster.
The Steelers roster, you look at that roster, it doesn't have as many holes as, some other teams. It's not, they're a guy, if they have Rodgers, they're pretty good for this year. They don't have to really reach for another need. They could take a shot. They could take a swing there.
Yeah. It's fascinating. I think we all see what it is. And
Milroe's in the 70s on my board right now. So that's where I have him. He's going to go earlier.
Yeah. I think I've got him. Yeah, like right around that 80 in that range.
Yeah,
but I know he's going to go. I know he's not getting to the third. I know that. All right, all satellite team. Again, Google it, please, if you haven't already. It's the McShay Report. Take a lot of pride in it. Appreciate any support you'd be willing to give, and all the support I need is just Google it, click on it, and subscribe. I want to remind you again, and I'm not going to infomercial this thing. You can subscribe for free. We'll get you in. We'll get you hooked, and then maybe we'll squeeze $4 out of you later. I'm not hiding anything. Like, would love to have you subscribe and be in for the whole shtick. But you can subscribe and get free information. This is one of the things. All satellite team, Mensch. I started it back in 2010. At ESPN. There's some great things about everywhere we work, and there's some things that you don't love about every place you work. But one thing that I always appreciated at ESPN, when you came up with a good idea that was well received, they would help you build it. And the all satellite team went from literally me sitting in the newsroom, almost poking fun with CJ Spiller, who was the first ever winner of the McShay All Satellite team. And me making jokes to CJ, poor CJ, who was at Clemson, probably got pulled out of a class or like was told by Dabo or someone on the staff, hey, you got to come on. McShay wants to, I don't know, was Dabo even the head coach back then?
I think he was.
Yeah. But I made the joke like, listen, I know you were like all conference. I know you're an all-American. I know you've won all these trophies. But one day you're going to look back and be like, the most prestigious award I won was the all satellite team. And clearly it wasn't. But this list has been really good. And ESPN did a great job of growing it. And they had studios filled with like floating satellites and all this fun stuff. But like we made it fun. But as the league, and I did it back in 2010 because this is when the league started to spread things out. And this is when college was trickling up. This is when like Urban Meyer and Rich Rodriguez and those guys were introducing the spread concepts and finding individuals that could create in space. And that's what like I go around to all these different college programs, and it was like we're trying to recruit guys that if I can get them the ball with 2-3 yards of space, they can go create. So our run game becomes supplemented in a screen passing and quick hitting and all that stuff. And so it grew. And this is now the 16th year. Okay. We've had guys like Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Lockett. I remember Tyler Lockett was like a later pick, and people were at ESPN were like, why are you so high on Tyler Lockett? I'm like, because he creates and he's great in the return game. And he's going to be a really good number 3. And look at the career he's had. Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Waddle, Jahmyr Gibbs, just a handful of names throughout the years. Okay. So this year, and I don't want to go through all of these, and I really encourage you to go read it because we get the defensive backs to get to, corners and safeties in the deep dive. I'm going to give you a few names on the list. And tell me where I was wrong. Tell me if you would have reordered.
Oh, I don't hate the order.
I went with Travis Hunter 1. I don't think he's a 4-3 guy. I think he's a 4-4, maybe like a 4-3-9, probably like a 4-4, 4-4-1. It ain't about that.
No.
One of the things I highlighted in here, and I get into everyone's skills, their traits, what makes them, what I've seen on tape, and I also dive into like, some of the explosive numbers and the workout numbers and all the different things. Because these guys are going to wind up on NFL teams, and if you're a fan of an NFL team, if they wind up in your team, you want to know exactly what makes them special. And I went through 11 different guys that are special with the ball in their hands. Okay. Travis Hunter was number 1. And part of it, he had 66 missed tackles forced after the catch the past 2 years. That's just after the, you know what I mean? Luther Burden, who I have reservations about due to what are you getting in the building kind of stuff, some baggage. But he's going in the top 40 picks is my guess. He had 72 missed forced tackles over
2023 seasons. Luther Burden.
Yep. Agreed.
That's what
when he wasn't frustrated with the quarterback play and all that. You know what? A lot of guys not a lot, a couple times I've had conversations about Burden and all the stuff, but the name that keeps coming up is Debo.
Interesting.
Not quite as big, but Debo came with some stuff and like work, like how's he going to work? And the weight was a problem.
Right.
I remember he was coming off the injury, wasn't, but Burden 4.41 speed, both built like running backs. The thing with both Burden and Hunter's at a different level. Hunter's ball skills are as good as it gets. We can sit here and do comparisons, best in a decade, all that stuff. I'm just telling you, for all the athleticism, the both sides of the ball, with the ball in his hands, the thing that always gets overlooked, and I'm surprised, this dude has the best ball skills that money could buy. Adjusting the ball, all that. But when it comes to the all satellite team, if you go watch him, and I actually just put on some clips of his run after catch stuff. I don't even think it registers in his brain when he's plucking a quick slant or like some kind of like a bubble screen or alley. Like, I don't even think it registers in his brain as a chore that he has to catch the ball. It is so second nature. So that he's like 2 steps into his rack, into his run after catch.
Yeah.
When some guys are making sure they secure that part's fascinating to me. And Burden's outstanding too. I had those 2 guys at the top.
This is where it gets interesting for me.
I had 2, 3, 4, 6 running backs in the 11, which is not normally. Usually this is wide receiver, throw in like a return specialist. Maybe there's always, it seems like not always, every year or sometimes every 2 years, there's a quarterback. I mentioned Lamar before. Malik Willis was on this list. And I'll spoil it now, but Milroe's on this list as well. But it's running back heavy, but also a lot of wide receivers and versatile guys.
Emmanwori and Hampton. 2 straight line.
So I went and walked. I don't take this shit lightly, man.
No, I know you don't.
I literally took, I don't know, 5-6 hours compiling the list, going back then and watching clips from the PFF Ultimate stuff, merged with our tape.
So good.
Catapult. It's so good. But trying to refresh my brain, make sure because when you stack them, looking for one specific trait, one thing they do, and you watch them, and I actually adjusted my board a little bit based off of just clearer picture. Hampton was one of the 3 guys that I had on my first. I think my list was like 14 or 15. So I made some. I had to cut. I didn't want to go 11. I wanted to go 10, but I just didn't know. I didn't want to cut anyone off that I truly felt deserved it. I love Hampton, and his missed tackles forced after the catch are phenomenal. But a lot of it's like one cut go, breaking tackle. If I had to pick one weakness in his game, and he's light on his feet, don't get me wrong, but confined, if you get him, well, we used to say a phone booth. Kids out there won't understand. If you get him in a tight alley, right? Like in the Back Bay of Boston, if you get him in one of those tight alleys where you're driving through, where the trash is picked up and dropped off. I see time after time he gets tripped up or brought down in a tight space. Now you get him in a little bit more space, yes. But these guys all in tight spaces can make you look stupid.
Yeah, the SMU running back too, Brashad Smith, who I know you love. I thought he might get the shout out here. The other thing that is
he's a little bit more the same. He
really,
slippery, but I love his acceleration and like weaving.
Yeah,
these guys are more like
I got you. I think I'll just give this away. Ashton Genty is 4 on the list. I won't say who's in front of me. You already know 2 of the names, but there's another name. So you have 3 guys in front of Ashton Genty. And I'll tell you a guy that I understand who's not on this list, but I think is sneaky. That looking back, we might be like, wow, that guy was more dangerous in space than we realized. And that's the Maryland receiver, Ty Felton. Yeah. The more I watch him, man, the more, I mean, it's about the speed. He breaks some tackles, and he doesn't do it a lot. He's got a lot in his bag of tricks. But every once in a while, man, I see him make a move where guys buckle. And he didn't do it a lot. He didn't do it a lot, but he can change directions on you, man. And the average yards per catch wasn't high for him this year. It was much better last year, but a lot of underneath stuff to him. And the production was super high. So you're maybe not looking for you're not seeing it on paper, but on tape, man. Ty Felton, he's a guy that the more I watch him, the more I keep moving him up my board.
That's a good ad. That's a good shout. This episode is brought to you by Walmart. Life gets busy. We could all use an extra hour or save one. With Walmart Express Delivery, you can do just that. Simply place your order, and in as fast as an hour, it's at your door. Use promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order. No hassle, no stress, just more time for what matters most to you. Visit walmart.com to order now. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum. Subject to availability. Restrictions apply. The McShay Show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL draft is here, and if you want to make every pick a little more exciting, FanDuel's where it's at. The app is simple, secure, and packed with exclusive offers. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. And if you think the draft is just about waiting for some names to get called, think again. With FanDuel, you can bet on pick positions, which team will draft a player, exact orders, top 5, top 10 picks, and a ton more, including some ringer specials. And right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. So before the draft kicks off, download the FanDuel app and get ready to make every moment unforgettable. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in DC. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. All right, let's get into it. Position deep dive. I feel like we should have music and all that, but who cares? Position group deep dive. This is the second to last. We saved the best for last for Mensch. As I mentioned, I'm officially done with all my evaluation. I get some surprises for you, man.
Interesting.
With the offensive line, man. I don't care. I'm getting too old to play games.
What a tease.
Yeah. So we'll have that next week. We get the mock draft coming up on Thursday. If you don't subscribe, like, what are we doing? It's mock 3.0. There's only one more mock after that.
Right.
And then we're on to 2026. The hell? Just subscribe. All right. I'm
interested to see your take on this.
I think there will be some surprises off the top. Let's go. Roll them out, Tucker. Tier rankings. Travis Hunter, number 1. Tier 1. There's no tier 2 guy in this class. That's just a notch below the elite class. Other guys in that group from other positions in that tier 2 include like Tyler Warren, Ashton Ginty. Ginty would be in tier 1, and I think Warren would be in tier 1 for Mensch. Jalen Walker. So you get down to tier 3, but it's not even the bottom of the first round, okay? When I get into tier 3. Okay? I mean, I guess technically the bottom of the list is, but here we go. Cornerbacks and safeties. I'll rip them off, and then let's start focusing on the corners. Jahdae Barron, Texas. Everyone's starting to call him Jahdae Barron, but apparently it's not, and I hope that's right. I've said Jahdae Barron forever. But Barron, still my number 1 cornerback if we're excluding Travis Hunter and calling him his own entity. Maxwell, Hairston, Kentucky, 2. Will Johnson, Michigan, 3. But I want to make this perfectly clear. I've come to a happy medium on all of this. They're all very different players. Very. Barron is a zone. He's going to be best suited in his zone coverage, and he's up there 91 grade for all of the things he does. Hairston can play zone and man. Will Johnson can play zone and man, but Will Johnson does it with kind of the instincts, size, ball skills. Hairston does it with speed, explosive traits, ball skills. Both can play both cover. All 3 can play both coverages, but they're different players, okay? Then after that, and we'll come back to the safeties, Benjamin Morrison. I went back to it. I can't get the 2023 tape out of my brain, and I say that's a good thing. Trey Amos. Another name change late in the game. Not Amos. Trey Amos from Ole Miss. ran really well. That was the question. I've got him. Here's the thing. I actually liked A.Z. Thomas's tape from Florida State better than I liked Amos's. And I like both of them a lot. Obviously, I've got him in that fourth tier, which is early second round. But this is such a traits-driven position. And Amos ran a 4.43. Thomas ran a 4.58. That hurts. And then the last guy on that list is Savone Revel from East Carolina, who I actually really like. I loved his tape this year and the adjustments and the improvements he made. Let's get into these cornerbacks, though. Tucker, show us the list. We got the top 15 cornerbacks. If you're not watching on YouTube or Spotify, I'll just rip through them. Travis Hunter, number 1, receiver corner. Then we mentioned Barron, Hairston, Will Johnson's the other first-round guys. Early to mid 2, talking Benjamin Morrison, Trey Amos, A.Z. Thomas, and in that second-round range as well, and that I think mid-second-round range, for me at least, is Savone Revel. Then after that, Darian Porter from Iowa State. Jordan Hancock is the name I can't wait to talk to you about in a minute. Jacob Parrish, Kansas State. Quincy Riley, Caleb Ransaw, who is another guy I really liked on tape. I didn't do enough on him leading up to this process. Upton Stout. I'm stout on that evaluation, and I know I'm the only one on Stout Island. And then Noel Williams from California. I've made this decision. We have talked so much about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I want you to give me one nugget on Travis that's interesting to you, that's different, that we haven't talked about. I promise there's going to be an episode where we do a half hour. I've already sent our producers, Dan and Connor and Tucker. I've never done an evaluation like this before, Match. I did 2 pages, bio, background, academia, and then a full-ass report on cornerback and a full-ass report on wide receiver. It is the most unique thing I've ever experienced, but we'll do some fun stuff with that and present in graphics and probably doing the McShay Report as well. But give me one thing that you want to highlight at the corner.
This is the most difficult thing you've ever asked me to do. We've talked about this guy, it feels like, for a full year, almost every show. One thing that no one.
I'm telling you, we're going to come back to him and we're going to dedicate like a half hour solely to him.
I know, but there's not one thing that hasn't already been said. I'll just reinforce it, that this guy is a lockdown corner. The way he moves, the way he plays the ball. I guess maybe something that we could really focus on is instincts, the way he tracks the ball and attacks the ball. So maybe it's the instincts that we haven't talked about a lot. He knows how to read receivers. He knows how to read quarterbacks. He's just a natural football player. So maybe that's it. But I think we've all heard a lot about Travis Hunter at this point.
I've had a lot of good conversations with defensive back coaches and high-ranking officials, whether GMs or scouts. And one consistent thing that I hear over and over again, it's the Richard Sherman effect. How did Richard Sherman, with that 40 and that tightness, become one of the all-time great corners for a long time in the NFL? I don't know all time, but like he was at the top of the smart.
Yeah.
It's the most underrated trait at cornerback, and that stands out. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
And not Stanford smart, by the way. He's football smart. Like, yes, he is Stanford smart, but that dude knows ball.
I'm gonna back. Here's my one nugget, and we're going to come back and we're going to do a whole, I'm sure, like a half a show on it. Did you know this? Hunter became just the 8th player ever to be named consensus first-team All-American and earn any level of academic All-American honors.
No, I'd not. I knew he had won those academic honors. Yeah.
And it wasn't any academic. It wasn't any level for him. It was first team.
Right.
In 2024, Hunter earned academic All-American first team honors for the second year in a row with a 3.79 GPA, majoring in anthropology. Colorado's it's a party school. It's fun. It's a pretty good school. And I'm sure, he's Travis Hunter, and maybe he gets a break here. But like, there's plenty of guys that get by. Hunter's just the 3rd Heisman winner to earn academic All-American first team status, joining Heisman Trophy winners Warfel and Tebow.
Quarterbacks, yeah.
And he and Warfel are the only two to actually do it in the same year.
Oh,
That's
that's
my
a nice little
nugget.
nugget. Yeah,
It's different.
You had this great nugget. You set me up.
I like the smarts actually played into what I was going to say. So we'll get to all of his traits and we'll do a whole half-hour show. It just doesn't seem fair.
Sherman ended up in the right place, which is great. I love that he ended up where he ended up and he was able to take advantage of it. Whereas I think Travis could end up anywhere in the league and he's going to be able to make plays.
All right. Jahdae Barron, Texas. What do you got?
All right, this is a thing that I want to get into. I agree with you. I agree with you. He's a zone guy. I think he can play inside. I think he can play outside. He played outside a lot last year. Don't get me wrong, but he can play inside or outside. Love the ball skills. Again, this is a guy who just tracks really well. This is a little bit more of the 30,000 foot view, and it's interesting to me your grades. Frame. You don't seem to be concerned with these guys with the smaller frames. And I'm talking about Jahdae Barron. I'm talking about Maxwell Hairston. These are the guys who are like specifically are sub 6 foot, a little bit smaller. I look at that and I say, if you have the same grade as Will Johnson as you have on Jahdae Barron and Maxwell Hairston, I'm going Will Johnson because I think he can match up with the bigger dudes on the outside. That's kind of how, and I have Johnson as my second corner on my board, basically for that reason. I love Jahdae's tape. Love the way he moves. Love the instincts. Love the way he plays. Oh, tough. He'll come up and tackle. Love his toughness. There's a lot to love about Jahdae Barron. I'm not sure he can match up with a Mike Evans on the outside.
Here's my response to you. If you want the truth.
Yes.
I didn't like Will Johnson's tape all that much.
I know.
I thought Will Johnson sucked when the ball was in the air. I thought Will Johnson
with his back to the line of scrimmage, right? Not facing it. He's
with
awesome.
his back.
Yeah.
With his, sorry. With his.
No, that's okay.
When shadowing down the field, ball in the air, it's pass interference. It's not finding it. I mean, here, I'll give you examples. Out of phase, first quarter, Maryland gets wide receiver number 4, vertical route down the right rail. Where's the recovery speed? Where's the location? Later in that Maryland game, minute 49, third quarter, press man coverage. He gets beat by number 1, Caden Prather, down the left rail. Stays in phase the whole time, but gets out of position when trying to look back for the ball. Interception against. So these are all my notes. He had a great interception against Marvin Harrison Jr. This is why I put it in there. 2023, right? That's what he does best. Off coverage, reading the quarterback's eyes, early jump, squat, drive. That's where he's awesome. But when he's got his back turned, it can be a little bit of a fire drill. Then fast forward to the end of that year, Washington, Roma Dunze, national championship down the right rail, burned badly, double move off. That was actually off coverage as well. It's a little bit of tightness. There's not elite recovery speed. Then he gets flagged for an obvious PI. But he did have an interception earlier in the game.
Yeah, I think he was the defensive MVP of that game.
He held up really well, I said. But this is Roma Dunze, right? And that's those two plays happen in an NFL game. It's a bad day.
Yeah.
I don't care what happened. Okay. Fresno State tape. Did you watch that tape from 2024?
I think I watched all of his tape from 2024.
Ugly. He had that pick 6, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Fresno State get pick 6." That game was ugly. So my point in all this, and I'm overemphasizing it because I see how Will Johnson's going to succeed. It's going to be in the right system. It's going to be an off coverage. It's going to be zone. It's going to utilize his eyes. He's great with his eyes. And we just talked about length, size, smarts. He's got all of that. He's probably going to be the first defensive back taken, not named Hunter. And if you go to FanDuel, it's like first cornerback, Hunter excluded. First wide receiver, Hunter excluded. Like Hunter's just in his own category. So I recognize all of that, Mensch. But my point is, it brought him together with the other two who I absolutely adore. Jahdae Barron's tape.
Yeah, I'm surprised you have the other two at the same level as him.
Because my grade on Barron's like a 93, 94 as a football player.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. I knew this. Yeah.
There isn't 15 better football players in this draft. There might not be 10, but 5'10" and 3/4, 29 and 5/8 inch arms. So that went from here to brought him back down. Okay. Ran a 4.4, which I was worried about because now you add short arms, short frame, and a 4.5, and we got a problem. But I just keep watching guys like Brian Branch. And I want you to, Brian Branch, Devin Witherspoon was in a different category, but still plays some nickel. And I'm not saying he's just going to be a nickel. I'm just saying listen to how many of these guys we underrated. And you always tell me, you love your slot guys. And, well, maybe this is a fucking league, Mensch. Maybe this is a league that because we get so many cover twos and there's space in the middle of the field. Maybe this is a league that needs guys that are chess pieces in the middle. Brian Branch, Mike Sanderstrill, Garrett Williams, late round pick, Byron Murphy, Jalen Petrie, Dax Hill, Greg Newsome, Marlon Humphrey, Tyke Smith. What was he, a 5th round pick last year? He was like up for defensive rookie of the year halfway through his rookie year. Kyler Gordon, Cooper DeJean, and he was drafted, but still. Jordan Lewis, Teron Johnson, Tarheeb Still, Michael Carter, Drew Phillips, Roger McCreary. That's like 3/4 of the league's nickel backs that were all almost all of them drafted way too late. And so when I see, I get you.
I mean, I can list the best centers in the league and say they were drafted too late. It's just because you don't value them as much, man. Like you could talk about all the great running backs in the league that were drafted later than they probably should have been. You can do any position other than the premium positions. And the reason is you can find guys like that later in the draft a lot. I do think this. I will back you up on what you're saying on this. I do think specifically this position is changing. I think that we talked about to Nick Caserio, we talked about this when the Patriots defense started to evolve and they started to use 3 safeties. And you can have that third defensive back who can play the run and be really tough against the run. Jahdae Barron checks that box. You can have that third defensive back who's maybe a safety, maybe a corner, whatever you want to say, who can play close to the line of scrimmage, who can cover. Those guys are becoming more valuable. I think their value is going up, and that's changing because it's evolved a little bit, right? About guys getting spread out. And now you have to have that. You want to go nickel, but you don't want to be vulnerable against the run. So finding that player, the Brian Branches of the world, I think the Jahdae Barrons of the world, is becoming much more valuable. But the reason some of those names you're listing in the past is because it hasn't been as valued in the past. It's like running backs. You can find great running backs in day 3, man.
Actually, really good points.
Thanks,
good points.
Appreciate it.
No, good points. And that's why we have these discussions because it's going on in draft rooms too.
Right.
Well, where do we take that guy? And I sent another thing. We're going to take some time in one of our episodes, premium position stuff, premium picks, premium positions. Never more evident than last year. It's going to be fascinating this year because we got like 8, 9 guys at non-premium positions.
I literally got excited when I saw that email because it's a fascinating conversation.
Okay. Maxwell Hairston, before we start moving on to the other guys. I think he might be the most dynamic athlete in this class, not named Travis Hunter.
He's so fun to watch. His change of direction, his burst, it's like a video game. It's like you take my kids talk about the sliders on video games, and they just took the sliders all the way up in his natural ability. There's nothing. He's small, but in terms of his movement skills, his burst, his speed, it's ridiculous. If you could build a player like that.
But is he? He's lean, but he's 5'11" and a quarter. It's not that small. It's not 5'10". It's not 5'9".
That's true.
And it's 31-inch arms. The 5-year combine average for arm length is 30
and a half.
Oh, I must have copied and pasted the wrong ones.
I think it's 30 and a half.
Oh, no, hold on. No, 31 and a half.
31 and a half.
31 and a half. So
it's not terrible. You're right.
But let me tell you something, bud. 4.28, fastest
I
at the
love when you
combine.
say that. Go ahead.
39-inch vertical jump, second best of the cornerbacks. 10.9 broad, third best of the
Silly.
corner. And then the tape, like elite ball skills. The way he can move and how confident he is with the ball in the air. The other thing is 300 snaps in 2024, 0 touchdowns allowed, whatever. But Georgia, 3 targets, 1 reception allowed. Luther Burden, 2 receptions allowed, 15 yards, interception against Burden. Alabama, 3 receptions allowed, 28 yards. South Carolina, 2023. Leggett and Nick Harbor, 4 targets, 1 catch allowed, 4 yards. He's done it against some good dudes, man. The only tape I didn't think was great for him was Texas. Golden. There were a few plays, but nothing horrible. There was one where Golden caught it. Hairston was going against the grain and just kind of smoked him. But it wasn't a coverage thing as much as it was like one false step against 4.29 speed or whatever Golden ran.
Yeah, there's a reason they say great corners have short memories. That's because everyone gets got. It's like the Marshawn Lynch thing. Everyone gets got. I'm just going to get more than I get got. I mean, that's just how it works, man. You're out on an island. You're going up against big-time players. You're going to get beat sometimes. Safeties miss some tackles. Corners get beat over the top every once in a while. That's life, man. You better get back at it on the next snap and stop worrying about it.
So my rankings are Will Johnson, number 1 corner, not named. Jahdae Barron, number 1 corner, not named Hunter. Hairston, and Will Johnson. And all with a 91 grade. So it's not kind of not splitting hairs. It's within the buckets, as we talked about. But I won't promise you, but I feel really comfortable saying it's very likely it's going to go Will Johnson, first corner, not named Hunter, then Barron, then Hairston. But I also will say this, I will be shocked if all 3 of those guys are not off the board in round 1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think Hairston's coming off a little bit earlier than people want to guess.
I don't think they'll be the only 3. I think some of those other guys are going to move in there too. I just think you need them. I mean, you just saw the Raiders release Jack Jones. I mean, some guys, there's going to be some love for corners.
So that next tier 4, Benjamin Morrison, Notre Dame, Trey Amos, Ole Miss, A.Z. Thomas, Florida State, sorry. And Savone Revel. What jumps out? Is there anyone you want to highlight there?
I mean, just going really quickly, I think Morrison had the best tape in 2023. A.Z. Thomas's tape, really good last year. Trey Amos is going to be very attractive to people because he's a press corner. I mean, that's what he was born to do. And if you're in the NFL and you want a press corner, this guy's got the length and the speed. He's made to do that. So as A.Z. Thomas didn't run as well. And Savone Revel is maybe the biggest upside guy. He's coming off a knee injury, never really got to show what he could do in the college level. So all 4 of them are a little bit different. I do like Morrison the best. I think he can play over the slot. He can play outside right away. I'm like you. I just think the 2023 tape is so damn good. The human seatbelt. I mean, he is all over guys on that tape. Didn't run though. I mean, how serious is the injury? Because he's not. I don't think he's a great speed guy. I'd love to have a time on him, just to have a time to.
Yeah, I agree.
To ease some concerns about it.
I thought he played well in 2024 and better in man than I thought he would. He played a lot more man.
Yeah.
With L. Golden this year at Notre Dame. Gosh, he's a scrappy player, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gap integrity, support, works his ass up to funnel and keep contained. Like he does all those little things.
Right.
He's just, listen, I get it. You got longer or faster or better press man with Thomas and Amos.
Yep.
But he's a better football player for whatever that's worth. And it's not always worth a ton. But I did know this, talking to teams, that I didn't realize. That was his second hip surgery.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't see that.
his right hip in 2021 in high school and his left in 2024.
Oh, it sucks.
But again, like hips are not a thing these days, apparently. I don't know. Just it was an interesting nugget.
Savone Ravel is interesting too because I see it.
I see. I didn't see it. I saw. Okay, so just I want people to understand. Reek Woolen, he was a 5th round pick.
How is he a 5th round pick, man? The way he ran the tape,
I'll tell
I
you
have
why.
no idea.
Because his tape absolutely stunk.
No, it wasn't that bad.
But I promise he was lost. He had no technique. He didn't know how to press.
Oh, okay.
He looked like like one of those young like fawns at times. He did, man. But
overkill. Classic
he was
overkill.
tall. He was long. He had like the best traits you could ever
could
imagine
run,
in the corner.
yeah.
And I said from after the minute I got done watching his tape, won't work in most places in Seattle. Like this is a Seattle pick. I don't know what took him 5 rounds to do it, but they did it. So Revel, it was a little bit of the same with Revel watching his tape in 2023. Not nearly as bad, in my opinion. Not nearly as bad as Reek Woolen's tape. Reek Woolen's tape reeked.
You're killing Reek.
I mean, he can laugh about it now too. But Revel kind of like Lewisburg College, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 years, 2020, 2021, COVID restrictions, didn't have only 6 games. Excuse me, transfers to ECU in 2022, plays sparingly. So this is a 2023, 2024 evaluation for a guy who's been in college since 2020 and not at the biggest programs. He looked good at times in 2023. You could see the potential. And I watched 23 first, and then I popped into 24. I was dying to see what did summer bring. Was there coaching, strength? I wanted to see the press technique and strength, and I saw it right away. I think one of my favorite, most fun. Do me a favor when you're done with all your evaluations and you got 20 minutes. Do yourself a favor. Go through the cut-ups of the SMU 2023 tape. I thought it was 2024 actually. Either way, go. You'll find it. The 2023 tape. They went after Revel vertically down the rails like a dozen times. I couldn't believe I thought at first, like after 3 or 4, I thought maybe it was skipping or like there was a problem with, as my kids would say, it was glitching, Dad. It was glitching. I thought it was glitching. I've never seen anything like it. They hit on 1 out of like, it felt like 15. It was probably like 8 or 9, but like
they saw something they liked.
7
didn't work out.
It was shotgun, 3 steps, driving it. And he held up. I think he's got a chance to be really, really good in the cover 3 scheme. 6'2", 194, almost 33-inch arms. Don't know what he runs, but I just think he's a good player.
He runs well on tape. I don't know what the number is, but he runs well on tape. I don't know like whether that's a 4.45 or something a little bit different, but
what's interesting though, and I'm transitioning now, Darian Porter, the next guy on my rankings, actually has, I think Revel plays more like Reek Woolen. Porter has the closest thing to Reek Woolen's measurables maybe we've seen since Woolen came out.
Yep.
6'3", 195, 33 and 1/8. His arms are longer than Will Campbell's, bruh.
Yeah.
Let's
see how he sets.
And he went and he ran a 4.3 flat. Overall speed leader on the Zebra technology at the Senior Bowl, 22.17 miles an hour. His 4.3 flat was the second fastest of any cornerback behind Hairston. He was the fastest player out there. Now, Porter's 25. Played 3 seasons at corner, transitioned from wide receiver. Former wide receiver, though, and special teams maven. So,
he only started 1 year at corner, too, right? He only got 1 year starting.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're bringing in a 25-year-old. That sucks. Because you don't want to bring in a 25-year-old developmental corner.
Right.
But he's been great. He's proven on special teams. Great ball skills. I don't think it's like it didn't take long from that trash tape from Rick Woolen. I'm running with the joke now, but from that not so pleasant experience of Rick Woolen's tape at UTSA to be like considered defensive rookie of the year in the NFL for a long stretch in his rookie year. So if he gets with the right team, the right coaching, cover 3 heavy, all that, and he only allowed 4.7 passer rating this last year. He was good.
I'm encouraged by his tape. I mean, I was encouraged by the way he played corner, but you know what scares the hell out of me? For a guy who's really good on special teams, his tackling, his run defense is not good. For a guy who's that big, who has that special teams background, that's not what I expected. He's not good in run support. That's something he's going to have to clean up. He's a big dude. He's got long arms. That'll all help. But he was not good against the run this year.
All right, Tucker, throw up, if you're still awake back there, an hour and 15 minutes in, throw up, and this is the last position group deep dive. So these shows will be shorter.
Offensive line. Don't try to cut it out.
That's right. Shoot. I mean, it's winter again in Boston. I'm sniffling. I've been
snowing this morning here.
I got like quarter bars sitting around.
Oh my God.
I finished my safeties like an hour before.
Just taking it out on Reek.
All right. No, Tucker, the corners. Sorry, bud. Throw up the corners. Here's this list of the next guys. We just went through the top 9. Those are all guys I think could go in the first 2 rounds.
I want to hear what you have to say about Hancock.
I'm gonna go through 2 players in this next 5. Jordan Hancock, Ohio State, Jacob Parrish, Kansas State, Quincy Riley, Louisville, Caleb Ransaw, Tulane, Upton Stout, Western Kentucky, and Noel Williams, California. Pick a guy or 2 while I'm talking that you're ready to that you want to highlight from either from that list or someone that's not in my top 15 corners. Anyone you want, take it anywhere you want before we get to safeties, okay? And I promise you the safeties are shorter because it's just not that great of a class. But I was told by a friend in the league, and thank you, friend, make sure I go back and double, triple check on Jordan Hancock's tape. See what you think. Because they're kind of struggling a little bit with him, but some people in the building like him. I like this guy a lot. I like him a lot. 4-year player, 1.5-year starter at Ohio State. Everyone knows Denzel Burke, right? Everyone knows Davis Igbinosun. The best player in that secondary was Caleb Downs. Not really close. And Ransom, the strong safety, got a lot of love too. Jordan Hancock was the second best defensive back in that secondary this past year. Okay. Didn't participate at the combine. Excellent pro day though. And
most Ohio State guys didn't, by the way.
And Notre Dame.
I keep going through them, and they didn't do it. It was insane.
And they shouldn't have been. Why does everyone else get 2 months to prepare and we get a few weeks? Okay.
Yep.
Excellent pro day though. 4.42 40 would have been the 10th fastest of all the cornerbacks, and 10th is it's a long list and a lot of fast times. Listen to this: 41.5-inch vertical would have been the best by a cornerback at the combine. 10.6 broad would have been tied for 7th. Also worth noting, arm length 31 5/8 of an inch at the pro day. I don't know what was pissed into that soup.
It's crazy.
Of the combine measurement, gentlemen, for the arm length. But the number differences that we're getting, and these are also very competent NFL scouts that
you have to keep making that point.
Pro days. It's not like the equipment guy at Ohio State. Like, yeah, give him another inch. It's an actual NFL scout who needs this to be right.
I had dinner with someone the other night, and they were like, "Oh, you see those LSU guys giving Will Campbell a little extra?" I was saying, that's not what happened. It is not the LSU equipment manager winking at Will as he puts the tape measure on his arms.
All right, so Hancock, fast, physical, aggressive, instinctive, smart, nickel. Think of like the star, nickel, big nickel. That's what he is. I thought he showed a lot of improvement throughout the 2024 season. I thought he got better. The late tape's better than the earlier, which is
Did promising. He play a lot early on, or is he kind of got worked in? I felt like he got worked into it as the season went on, and they went into that.
He played more.
Right.
And last year he had a handful of starts, but 21 starts between last year and this year. All right. 89 tackles, 12 pass breakups, just 1 interception. Not a great ball hawk. Took a few PIs. I'm not going to lie to you. He does some grabbing. We got to work on that. But I'm talking about like a 3rd round draft pick, someone who's 6 foot, 195 pounds, 31 and 5/8 inch arm length, ran a 4.42, explosive lower body. And I think I see a lot of the same stuff with some of these other guys. Like the upside is there, big nickel starter, surprisingly sound in coverage, excellent underneath zone and man. He's not just a slot cover guy though. He can hold up on the perimeter. I think Tyke Smith, the Buccaneers' 3rd round pick last year, is a perfect example. Impact and run support, Tyke was, this guy can be. His versatility, ran a 4.46, just similar time to Hancock. Hancock's my new branch, Sanderstrill, Petrie, whatever you want to call it. Freaking underrated. I like him.
Love it.
Other guy that I really liked, Caleb Ransaw, Tulane. I had not done his tape before last week. Did not realize the joy of an adventure that I was getting into with my buddy Caleb. He played 3 years at Troy, transferred to Tulane this past year. It just wasn't. So like you get added to the list and I got 150. Yeah. So I just like the quarterbacks and all these other guys. So I finally got to him. 1 season at Tulane, 12 games, not huge numbers, right? He's fast, not quick. All right. And I'm not saying he's elite. I'm saying late day 2, early day 3. But he's 5'11 and 3/8, almost 200 pounds. Okay arms, 30 3/4. Excellent tackler. Plays the same role in that Tulane. You remember watching Petrie's tape? Well, like there's certain guys that are engraved in my brain. That son of a bitch would hang out by the. He would.
That's the player we're talking about, though. You have to play the run to be in that spot.
Yeah,
Jalen Petrie is perfect example.
Yes, and Petrie was like this little like Mazda Miata among Mack trucks.
Yeah,
and he would be like, and chop off your knees.
Yeah,
like before you could even think about what the hell is going on, he would have you. He would torpedo you.
He's in the he lived on the other side of the line of scrimmage as a defensive back. I mean, he flew up.
Now the difference is this guy's fast, not quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's 4.33, bud.
He's 4.33 fast,
speed, and he's an awesome tackler. So now I got a tightly packed 4.33 guy who can tackle. So at the very minimum, I know I'm getting a great special teams player and someone who can help out some sub packages early in his career. And if things go well, I just found myself one of the next guys, the Branches, the Petries, the Sanderstills. I mean, this list is stupid, man. Garrett Williams, Byron Murphy, Dax Hill, Greg Newsome, Marlon Humphrey, Tyke Smith, Teron Johnson, Tarheeb Still, Michael Carter, Yeah,
it's a good list.
I'm not saying he's going to be one of those guys, but he's got a chance to be one of those guys. All right, where do you want to take it?
Jacob Parrish, the kid from Kansas State. I am a fan. He's small. He's 5'9", 6", 191. He's got some shorter arms. But I think if you look back at his 2023 tape, he showed that he can play the ball pretty well. He had 3 picks that year. No, he had 4 picks that year. I'm sorry. 4.35 speed, 1.5, 110 yard split. He's quick. I love the way he turns and runs and competes in press. He's quick. He's got good change of direction. He can match up underneath. I think he'll make an immediate impact on special teams. I think he's a guy that could cover kicks as well. So he's a player that in that, again, we're talking about the middle round range. I wouldn't put him up in the elite. I also have to I'll give you some flowers, and then I'm going to ask you a question about a player. I am all aboard the Upton Stout train. All aboard. I am kicking you off the bandwagon. I'm going to do with Upton Stout what you did with Amari and Hampton to me, where you just all of a sudden he's your player.
Yeah, I did. I
Okay,
admit.
so I'm going to take Stout. It's not even as high profile, so you're probably fine with the trade. He's not as fast or as explosive as Hairston, but he's got those hips. His ability to open up and change directions it really stood out to me. He's a guy who's going to be great in underneath coverage over slot receivers because he's quick and he's got oily hips. But the other thing about him is he's got that Petrie toughness, man. He likes to come up and play the run. He's going to fight off blocks. He's going to chase. So I'm all Western Kentucky, that nickel. I think he did play safety. Some people have him as listed as a safety, but he's a nickel. So if you want to call him a safety, you want to call him a corner, it doesn't really matter. Tough against the run. So another player I really like in that middle round range. The guy that keeps I see a lot of people like, and you have him here, I think, at the bottom of your list at 15. So I'm not saying that you have him too high, but the Noel Williams kid from Cal.
I put him down in the 4th round. I had to come up with 15.
Here's what I really like about his game. He is excellent at locating the ball late. He does a great job of snapping.
Fast eyes, good instincts, excellent ball.
Does a really good job of avoiding. He had 7 picks. I think he led the country with picks this year. So the ball skills are obviously there. Does a really good job of turning around, locating, and avoiding pass interference calls. There's one play where he was in trail and he just looked at the last second, turned around, and the ref's like, I can't call that. He's looking for the ball. So that there's some stuff to like about his game. He got torched against Auburn. He had 2 picks in that game. He got torched.
I saw
against Auburn, and he gets beat underneath. And again, if you're looking at a developmental guy who plays the ball well, and all, I get drafting this kid.
I don't
get
know
drafting that early.
With him, I got the opposite. To me, he's more
going to be the right scheme, maybe.
He's been in a lot of wars. 52 games played, 50 starts. 25 career PBUs, 14 career picks, returned a kick 80 yards for a touchdown last year, 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns. Smart.
The numbers are great.
But smart, instinctive, all those things. But I don't see a ton of upside. He's a 4.5 guy, shorter in arms than desirable. I think you kind of know what you're getting. Probably bring him in a 4th round range and you're getting a sub package guy.
Yeah, he's an all or nothing player. I feel like he's either going to make a great play.
He's not going to be a wasted pick, but
beat.
I don't disagree. I just don't like a lot of the guys after, to be honest, like Denzel Burke, Jalen Smith, Dorian Strong, Kobe Bryant, Justin Wally, Za Frazier.
Yeah, Dorian Strong's an interesting player. The kid from Virginia Tech. He's got to play in a zone heavy scheme. He cannot match up cover wise, but elite. He can be an elite zone corner. His instincts, the way he tracks the ball,
former receiver too.
Yeah, the way he just plays the ball, has a feeling for route combinations. He never guards grass, man. He never gets caught guarding grass. He's an interesting player who you can get in the middle rounds for the right team. He won't work everywhere.
All right, safeties. Let's get to it. Not a great class. Not a bad one, but it's not like, you look at the 3-year tally, we always have 1 in the first round, not always, we average 1 in the first round, 2.7 in the second round. We're going to get 2 in the first. It looks like 2 in the second and probably 3 in the third. That'd be my guess. Let's start with the top 2. We all know it's Malaki Starks and Nick Emmanwori, okay?
It's Nick Emmanwori and Malaki Starks. Got it.
For you. I want to say this, and I don't want to get into some deep, long thing. We're an hour and a half in. His Malaki Starks combine workout has to be concerning. I get it. Only four safeties ran slower than his 4.50. He ran the slowest 3-cone, 7.26 of all the safeties.
That's way more concerning than 40 time.
Ran the slowest short shuttle, 4.45 of all the safeties. had the third worst vertical jump. So now it's like lower body explosiveness, speed, lateral agility, body, like just didn't test well. Okay.
Yep.
I just love his tape. I think he had 3 or 4 plays.
I was going to say.
That got everyone to say, "Oh, he's a safety," and they were and a couple of them were in big moments or big games, and all the eyes of the country were on him. But the way he moves and his play speed's better than that 40, and he covers ground quickly. Everything's smooth and easy and fluid. His transitions. Competitive at the catch point, 6 interceptions, 22 breakups, active and run supports, fills it. He's just, to me, he's the best all around. Like this is truly like case study. Let's look back in 2-3 years. Tape versus the measurables.
Yeah, trust the tape, man. Always trust the tape.
I trusted the tape with Kirby Joseph. I gave him an early round 2 grade. I wanted to give him a first. The numbers didn't all line up, and and look at what Kirby Joseph's doing now. Kirby Joseph was my guy in that class. He went in the 3rd. He's been awesome, and I've missed on plenty. I'm not just, but it reminds me of that where it's like just trust your eyes, Todd. Mm-hmm. Trust your eyes. Now, Nick Emmanwori. I want you to give – he is your guy since August. You've been wearing my ass out, and you were on him way before. No, but in a good way. In a good way.
Right.
I didn't know. I hadn't done his tape. You love him. And I want you to explain to people for those teams that we're talking about a first-round pick. No one in the world was – you were like, I think it's crazy, but I'm going to put him in my top 32. And nobody in the world besides Steve Metch in this small little bubble – on this rock that spins round with billions of people in a tiny little bubble that we live, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no one in that tiny little bubble was talking about this guy, and you were last August. So I want to give you your flowers there, and I want to give you the floor to explain all the positives. And then I'm not going to tear him down. I'm just going to point out why and the the counter to some of it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll leave that to you. Obviously, this kid, I had him before the combine workout. So, I mean, long before the combine workout, like you said, I had him going into the 2024 season. And I just saw it on tape of a guy with a unique size speed combination on tape, but also the versatility, I think, to do anything you might ask of his safety. He could play in the box. He can match up with tight ends. He's competitive in zone and over the slot because of the way he can use his length to reroute guys. And then he can play high because of his range. He's an excellent ball skills. The one negative I will say was I was a little concerned about some of the tackling this year. I thought he could have been cleaner there, but this guy can be a big hitter. He's got a big tackling range because of that frame and that length again. And it's like I said earlier this year, when you're going into a general manager's office, they don't want to hear about what a guy can't do. They want to hear about what a guy can do. And when I'm projecting this guy, I'm not talking about, this is what he was. I'm talking about what he will be for our team. And I'm telling you, he's going to make us multiple. He's going to allow us to do things that other players just won't allow you to do. And if we can unlock his full potential, I mean, watch out. I think Kyle Hamilton, another 6'3" safety. These guys are unique in that they're so tall, but we've seen that a tall safeties can do well.
I see all those things. And I do think in the right scheme, utilized the right way, this guy's going to be an absolute difference maker. I truly do. I just I've had a few reservations. And again, he's in my top 32. He's got a first round grade, so they ain't that big, but it's not as clean as you might want it to be. I'm concerned, and I put this in my report. Pre-snap focus and decisiveness at times. I didn't feel like I was watching a player who was always dialed in.
It's really tough to grade, though, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Because I saw a guy that just kind of would check in a little bit. And then you go watch a guy like Xavier Watts, and you watch a guy like Malaki Starks. Okay. And I'll pull it all together. I promise.
Okay.
And then I watch, there's certain plays where he absolutely, the motor and but then there's plays where I'm like, could have gotten a little more out of him. Okay. There's inconsistencies with his aggressiveness and support, period. I don't unless I'm watching the wrong number 21 on South Carolina, there's inconsistencies with his aggressiveness and support.
I know you didn't watch the wrong guy, but he's 7. I think 21's Kilgore.
Oh, 21. No, that's from his, that's actually funny.
That's from a year ago, maybe?
The year before.
Yeah,
that was from the year ago. That was his junior
I know
tape.
you didn't watch the wrong guy, but I don't want people watching this to be like,
that is
McShay
awesome.
watched the wrong guy.
That's what I get. That's what I get. Karma. And so I talked to some people in the league who have done the digging and all that. And there's some, you're going to have, he needs to be drafted somewhere with some veterans and some guys who are going to make sure we're channeling everything and putting it in the right direction. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your grade on him right now?
It's a 90. It's first round. Late first round, though.
When you hear something, I mean, I have him as, maybe I have less first round grades than you. I have him at 21st best player. I have an 89 on him.
That is funny, too.
That is weird, right? I recognize it. I see it. Okay. I'm excited about his future. And I thought he was a first round player the whole way through.
Yeah. So that's that. But I'm telling you, I didn't think Cam Chancellor was going to be worth a damn. And then he got in the right system and Legion of Boom, and look what he did.
Right. It's true.
Now it's different reasons. So everything's an individual case study, but I'm just saying, some guys don't fit in a lot of schemes, but if they fit in the one they're in, look out. And this guy has lookout traits. Look out. And the thing I'll say this on the bright side.
Seattle or Miami. I want to see him in Seattle or Miami, but go ahead.
Yeah, I could see that. Both. I did have a lot of respect for playing 15 yards off, whether it was in a too high look or quarters coverage. And when he would match with the receiver on a post corner or a post, his ability to open up for that height, that was that's what Cam didn't have. So the safety picture became real clear in the last 72 hours for me, man. Kevin Winston, I didn't get to see him play much ball. He played one game from Penn State.
Glad you're bringing him up, man.
Played one game, had the partially torn ACL in game 2. So I got to see one full game and 14 freaking snaps of game 2 before he partially tore his ACL. But he returned healthy on March 28th, their pro day, and he ran a 4.5. It's 6'1.5" and 215 pounds with 32.5-inch arms. And I watch him on tape, and I see someone who's really good in coverage. He's tall, he's long, he's athletic, and I wrote in all caps, fast eyes. This guy reads the quarterback. He gets early breaks. The first clip I watched of him back in 2023 was I forget who it was now. I broke on the ball right in front of him. USC or I forget. Size, fluid for his size. Now an aggressive rat. Here's the thing. I'd like to see him maybe get a little bit stronger. I think he gets stuck on blocks. He's going to have to improve. But talk about wrapping. He's got those long arms. He wraps up. Here's one thing, and I see it every year, but I'm reminded when I sit down and actually watch tape after tape after tape after safeties. It's kind of like I was bitching with the linebackers, right? No one can take on a block anymore, man. These safeties suck at tackling.
Okay.
Compared to what it used to be. Bad angles, short arms with some of these guys. Just I don't know. But
I will tell you, it is a difficult thing to do, though. It is a difficult thing to do. But go ahead.
And it's why it's the hardest position to evaluate.
I'm seeing the exact same thing as you, though. Safeties miss tackles. This seems a higher rate than normal.
So when I watch the next two guys on my list, and it's probably part of the reason maybe I'm just old and yearn for guys that can. But when I watch Kevin Winston as my third-rated safety, and I watch Xavier Watts as my fourth-rated safety, there's one tie that binds with those guys. They will wrap up, and they are reliable, you know? And that's why that's not the only reason. I mentioned all the other reasons with Winston, and you can get in because Watts is your guy, get into all the other reasons. But those two guys, I can trust them tackling.
Yeah. I really like Watts. I think Winston, I haven't done it yet. I mean, I'm fascinated that you've done it. I really believe that I'm going to put Winston ahead of Watts.
I did it.
Man, that knee injury is one of the most. We'll get into Jalen Reed, I think, in a minute. But I thought that Kevin Winston was a way better safety prospect when they were on the field together.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
It's not really close. Actually,
close. I'm watching. With number 2. I'm watching a starter.
Right. Yeah.
I'm watching a starting safety, an impact guy.
Right.
When I'm watching one, I'm watching a guy who's probably like sub-packaged, do some different things.
Right. I think Watts' ball production for Xavier Watts, the safety from Notre Dame, is something that stands out. Intercepted 30 passes. Yeah, and I think that he's got smaller hands. I think it really speaks to his instincts more than anything else. Again,
was it 30?
13. Did I say 30?
Oh,
no, I said
yeah.
Yeah, did I say
30? I was like, what? Okay.
That would be. I think that would be some kind. That's got to be some kind of a record. 13 interceptions for Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. Again, speaks to his instincts more than anything else. Something that's been really jumping out to me watching these defensive backs is how well do they track the ball. Over and over again, I'm trying to watch how well guys locate and track the ball, and that's something that he's really good at. I think he's a good tackler. I don't think he's going to come down and hit anyone in the mouth. I think he's very solid in that. I think that when you watch Xavier Watts over and over again, I think the word that maybe does, and I do not mean this the word that maybe comes out after playmaker, and I don't mean this as a put down, is steady. I think he's smart. I think he plays well. I don't think he's special.
I totally agree. And that's why I dropped him down to number 4 safety, even though I just really like him.
Yeah. Good player.
Billy Bowman, I struggle with Billy Bowman because I absolutely love the dude. I love the way he plays. I see his limitations though.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about guys who are really great at tackling at my number 3 and number 4 safety. Billy Bowman misses a ton of tackles. And you can't always see short arms on guys. I see it. That I would argue, you can't. I know why long arms are important at corner because it's a ball up in the air and contested, and you get 1/4 of a step out of phase, and that can be the difference in a PBU or a 60-yard touchdown, right? At safety, it's more important. I would not more, but it's emphasized on tape more with the tackling. Because you got a lot of times where you're coming in at one angle and there's someone coming at that, and then at the last second, because they got a little runway on you. It's the hardest position. You said it before, the hardest position to tackle because you got this runway and you got that runway and you're converging, and the guy with the ball gets to decide whether he's going left over you or right, And so there's so many times on tape that a safety's coming in as hot as he can to get in position, to cut him off the pursuit angle, and all of a sudden it's like back the other way. And the only thing between you and 10 more yards or 40 more yards and a touchdown is an arm. And when your arm is 28.5 inches, watching my screen, versus 32 inches,
it's a big deal.
It becomes a big deal. Let me tell you about Billy Bowman Jr., though. His reaction skills are excellent. Foot quickness, all over the place. Plays his ass off. All right. And I love too, the stories are legend. He walks around campus and the facility with a tendencies book, and he's color coded. You can see it. He's a maniac and he loves ball, and that doesn't fail in the NFL. It doesn't. 5'9.5", 192, 28.5 inch arms. All that stuff can fail in the NFL, but it doesn't fail. Now, does it mean he can be a starter and overcome all of it? I don't know. I don't know. But I know this. I'm getting a great special teams player, someone who's going to contribute somehow on defense in sub packages. And hopefully all of the work and the preparation and the effort and everything he lays on the field is going to land him in the right spot at the right time with the right coordinator and the right defense with the guys up front he needs to just do what he does. But I liked him a little bit more off than I did like in that Petrie role, even though he does a little bit of both. He played 500 snaps in and around the ball. He actually played like middle linebacker a bunch too. But let me get to this. And this is your player, so I'm going to let you go on. I am officially on board with Jonas Sanker, almost to the point where I put him above.
Is it Jonas Sanker? We keep getting this wrong.
Sorry, Jonas. I apologize, Jonas. I apologize. And I was beating the drum on the Jonas thing too.
He misses some tackles too. But
I didn't think it. Hold on.
They all do. But the way he plays the run, he
does miss some time, but he comes with a thud.
205 tackles over the past 2 seasons.
Big, strong. Here's the thing with Jonas, okay? And his combine got him some attention. He has 32.25 inch arms. At 6 foot and 3/8 inches, 206 pounds, he ran a 4.48, which is a really good time for him and for that size. 36.5 inch vertical jump was 7th, tied for 3rd in the broad jump, 10.8. But here's the thing that I love about him. Deep half field, he's completely, we can't put him in center field. Deep half, bring him down closer to the box. But when the play's in front of him, his eyes are so damn fast. There were so many. It was almost like watching a highlight reel, but it wasn't. It was like going through all the key plays where point of contact plays. Plant, drive, close, thud. Plant, drive, close. Like early reaction. Plant, and he for a bigger guy. I mean, he's not huge, but like
he's got good size.
He does, but his pedal, like getting out of his pedal, he explodes.
Did you mention his 10-yard split?
No.
His 10-yard split, I think, was the quickest for the safeties at the combine.
That doesn't surprise me.
It just, that tracks, right?
That actually, and I didn't put it in my notes, and I'm going to make a note right now.
Yeah, that tracks.
That tracks.
And he runs the alley with bad intentions. He might miss a couple tackles, but he's going to get downhill and he is going to try and lay you out. He is a physical player. And then 8.5 tackles for loss last year. 205 tackles are the best. I mean, just those numbers. Then you put I think he flew under the radar a little bit because obviously Virginia has did not have a great year and has not been great in quite a while. So a player like that can fly under the radar a little bit, but the numbers are good. I mean, the production's pretty good.
Here's some of the notes I wrote from guys I've talked to in the league about him too.
Okay.
You talk about separators when looking at evaluations. Mm-hmm. This guy gets it. Talk about a leader. Tough, mature, professional.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love the way this guy approaches it. This guy gets it. He's everything we're looking for in terms of makeup. Like those are the things that are being said about Jonas. Mm-hmm. So, anyone else? Let's pull up the safeties list, Tucker, if you don't mind. I like Makuba, lean. He can cover. Plays a lot better.
He's a nickel, right? He's a nickel, right? I think he's a nickel, man. He's tough, but he misses some tackles because again, he's not big. He's not a big guy. I think he's going to be a nickel. I think he can cover, though. He tested well. I think he can cover. He showed he could play the ball this year. I saw
more aggressiveness and toughness out of him, and I thought he was a better tackler than Bowman this year.
I agree with that. I still think that he's not going to be a guy that plays deeper in the box that much. I think he's going to be a number 3. He's going to be a nickel, which is fine.
You see the rankings there. So Starks and Emmanwori, however you rank them, I think they go mid to late. I think Starks should go first, then Emmanwori, but we'll see how it plays out. Winston Jr. is clearly the number 3 safety for me, and Xavier Watts is clearly right behind him. Then I've got that next little, like Bowman and Sanker. Honestly, it's kind of what you're looking for. They couldn't be more different players. I mean, they're both safeties, but like one is a thumper box guy in Sanker. The other is Tasmanian devil, nickel, and can play some free. And then there's Makuba, Jalen Reed from Penn State, the other safety we talked about. I'm not as high on him. Lathan Ransom. This is where the drop-off is. Sebastian Castro. People I talk to in the league really like him. If there's anyone there in the list you want to finish up with, go ahead.
I like Castro too, because I think he's smart. I think he plays hard. He's willing to play the run. He's a dude who will come up and hit. He will fight off of blocks. He's also a guy that, I mean, he had a better year the year before, and he gives up a lot of separation in coverage, and he's going to have a hard time. You know, we talked about the arm length with the tackling. The other thing that it comes into play with safeties is matching up with tight ends. And Castro is one of those guys that I think has shorter arms. He's going to have a harder time matching up. He could be in great position and still not be able to make the play. But I get why people like him. He's instinctive. He does a good job of undercutting routes and coverage. He can play the ball. I just think there's enough flaws there that he's probably going to drop into the middle rounds. I think people coming into the year were a lot higher on him. And I think Lathan Ransom's, similar in some ways. Lathan Ransom, not afraid to come up and play the run. He has a hard time. You saw it against Tyler Warren in the Penn State game where he's in perfect position against Tyler Warren, and Tyler Warren's like, "Oh, thank you," and just takes the ball away from him because Ransom's not. He can't make those kind of plays consistently. But he's another guy that will run the alley on you, come up and hit you in the mouth. That's Jordan James from Oregon. He's a tough dude. Love him in the middle rounds because I think you're getting maybe a number 3 safety ultimately and a special teams guy.
All right, I've got one last little nugget sleeper guy that I'm gonna get excited about when his name is picked late on day 3. We're getting ready to go on live with Russillo from his house in the 7th round to review the whole draft. We're going to be wearing out Russillo, eating all his food, drinking all his drinks, and we're going to hear a name called. I do want to remind people, live stream, first round of the draft. Come join us, man. Put it on the background. Listen, get us on your phones. Screw it. Get us on your big screens. We're going to have fun. Get 2 TVs, whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to
do. But we're live streaming the first night of the draft, live streaming the second round of the draft. We're going to have shows all freaking week in LA. The draft ends in LA. All right? And subscribe to the McShay Report. You want to get subscribed now, get the all-satellite team. And Thursday, we got Mock 3.0 coming out. And my brain is free. The calls are being made. And all the evaluations are done. Mock 3.0 is setting the table for the final mock, and we're getting close. Here's my last nugget. Keaton Crawford, man, from Nevada, I don't mind.
Okay.
Breakout year in 2024. Like him in the slot. Plays the ball really well. Powerful hitter, can run 5'10 and a half, 202. Ran a 4.41 at the combine. 3rd fastest 40 of the safeties. 41.5-inch vertical. 2nd of the safeties. And Emmanwori is barely human. What he did. And a 10.8 broad jump, tied for 3rd. I saw the light coming on this year. Best football might be in front of him. Really stood out at the Hula Bowl. Blew up the combine. Explosive traits to work with and develop. Give me him in round 5. Kind of sneak that pick in while everyone's doing the snack break and worrying about the training table and doing their interviews for the ESPN and ABC and NFL Network. The GMs are out of the room. I'm just going to sneak that pick in round 5. And I might have something there.
You're getting special teams right away.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Texas before Nevada, right? I mean, he was yeah.
Yep. But the light seemed to finally come on. The light doesn't come on at the same point in time for every single young man. Look at me. It's still dull.
Yeah.
It's working still on dull, but it's going to come on, and it might come on draft week in LA.
Tune in.
Live stream all weekend long, starting Thursday with the first round of the draft. We're going to be there all week. Thursday, we're back with Mock 3.0.
Any teasers? You got anything? You got any You're like, no teasers for the mock?
We started the show with odds and phone calls and all. Like, you get the sense where I'm going, but it's Monday night, and I don't write this thing till about Wednesday, and Connor and Dan are going to throw up when they hear that. But I'm going to write it a half hour before we go live.
Look at it like Wednesday at 11:45 p.m.
Dan just wrote, no. All right. We appreciate you all. Truly.
Yes, thank you.
We're having fun. I hope you're having fun with us. Stick around. We're going to have a lot of fun as we wrap up this draft process in the next few weeks. And until Thursday, hope you enjoyed it. Later, buddy. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.